One of the most recognizable watches in the world is a Rolex Submariner. It combines both ruggedness and, well, luxury. My all-time grail watch was in fact the Submariner, and I can tell you from personal experience that the Sub truly can be someone's one and done watch. Well, at least that's what I tell myself. Before I was fortunate enough though to own one, I was always looking for a watch that gave me the feels without breaking the bank. I ultimately never purchased an Homage watch to scratch that itch, but if I would have, I think I would have landed on this Rolex Sub Homage from Baltani because, well, it's an homage to a Rolex Mil Sub, arguably one of the coolest subs to ever exist. This piece in hand feels solid and punches well above its price point of $149. Baltani always delivers great specs on their pieces, and this one is no exception. The entire watch is constructed of 316L stainless steel. The case measures in at 39mm and measures in at 47.5mm from lug to lug. The thickness clocks in at 13.8mm including the glass, and in between the lugs is 20mm. The water resistance is 200 meters. The watch with the unsized bracelet does weigh in at 155 grams, and the dial is protected by an AR sapphire crystal. The case has a mixture of brushing and polishing, but unlike the Sub, there's no bevels. The case feels very industrial, but I personally would be willing to pay more for better finishing. On the right hand side, we find crown guards that are protecting the screw down unsigned crown. The crown is pretty easy to unscrew and screw in, no issues there. The aluminum unidirectional 120 click bezel is very satisfying to turn and has a very nice audible sound to it, but I'm not too impressed with the backplate. I also noticed that this bezel, as opposed to the real Mil Sub, doesn't feature the hash marks throughout the bezel. The dial is pretty much a one-to-one recreation of the original Mil Sub, even down to the T at the 6 o'clock. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that, as this watch definitely doesn't have tritium. However, I've always been a fan of those Gladio hands, and I'm indifferent about the use of patina on this dial. Overall, the dial is clean and the retro Swiss Superluminova lumen has been applied on the hands and indices, and man, it glows super bright, so visibility in low light conditions is never going to be an issue with this watch. Baltani is notorious for having plain case backs, and that's exactly what this watch features, and of course is very much in line with the Rolex Submariner. The oyster style bracelet has solid links and solid end links. It uses screws to size it, and it's mostly brush. If you know anything about the Mil Sub, is that it had fixed spring bars and came on a NATO strap. I would have loved to see Baltani go all out and give us the fixed spring bars. That definitely would have been epic. Nonetheless, the bracelet is well constructed, but I'm not a huge fan of the clasp, as the deploying buttons on the side are not the smoothest to operate, but I do like that at this price point the bracelet comes with a mil clasp. The watch is powered by the Seiko NH38 automatic movement that can be hacked and hand wound. Brownie points to the company for using a no-date caliber. The caliber does beat at 21,600 beats per hour and has an approximate power reserve of 41 hours and an accuracy of -20 plus 40 seconds per day. I personally have no beef with this movement. I know it's a reliable movement in an entry-level caliber, but honestly I would be willing to pay a little bit more for a 4Hz caliber. The proportions work really well on my 6 and 7/8 inch wrists. Just like the Sub, this watch is very versatile, and not only does it look great on the bracelet, but thanks to the 20mm lug width, your strap options are endless. Now, my friends over at Montrose sent me some straps to pair this watch with, and I personally think the watch works on all of them, yes, including leather. And the best part is that these straps will not set you back hundreds of dollars, and they're super well constructed. I'll leave a discount code in the description so you can pick up a few pairs for yourself. All in with this, Homage watches are not for everyone. I've shared that sentiment in many of my videos. Furthermore, Homage watches never stay in my collection. I picked up a few here and there just to have an idea of what the real thing would look like before dropping some serious coin. However, when it comes to Homage watches of vintage or hard to get watches, I'm a lot more receptive to the idea, and I think this watch is a cool nod to the past, and for the price, Baltani honestly knocked it out of the park. Sure, the watch needs to be improved on, as I mentioned in my video, but it's a cool watch I can recommend to anyone looking for a cool beater watch. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be safe out there and stay humble.